Hey Margo, how's it going?
Hi. Oh my goodness. It's been going well. Not enough hours in the day.
Yep, never is. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, we've got 17 participants here in the chat, um, and we're ready to kind of get started. Um, Christopher Alexander is the one of the designers who I sent the link over to you yesterday or today. So yeah, we could get started with him, and then yeah, if we have some more time, maybe we could move on to a couple more people. Um, as I mentioned over kind of the email, we're basically going to be looking at like messaging for designers, for people who are consultants, and basically trying to get like their clients to care, right? Like on their website, and kind of developing messaging and how to kind of think about that copywriting and that messaging on the website, on your website, to get clients to pay you money, yes, but also to just care. And I couldn't ask for a better special expert guest here, Margo. Yeah, if you want to maybe take a few minutes to kind of walk us through kind of your approach and how you kind of think about this sort of thing, and introduce yourself, because you have an awesome website, one of my favorite newsletters out there, and great writing. So yeah, I'll let you kind of take it away.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Margo Aaron. I'm the creator of thatseemsimportant.com. I have a background in psychology. I was actually on the road to being a researcher and accidentally ended up in marketing. So I call myself a recovering academic and accidental marketer. And I was really interested when I was working in a psych lab in how you get people to care. How do you make people take action? Because it was very clear that we had the answers to how to make people's lives better, but we couldn't get them to take action on the information we would give them. And so that's sort of how I accidentally ended up in marketing and started studying customer psychology, which led me into messaging and copywriting. So I ran a conversion rate optimization and messaging and branding business for a while. And now I mostly write and teach how to write on the internet and how to sound like yourself when you're writing and all sorts of fun, really geeky things about messaging.
Yeah, sounding like yourself in your writing is it sounds like so straightforward, but can be really one of the hardest things, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you've got that awesome writing workshop. I linked to it in one of the emails that I sent out. Yeah, that's sort of a new thing, right, that you're working on?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks really, really valuable. So awesome. So Margo, I know you're like a Zoom veteran, so
Yes. What do you need?
if you want to click the green button and share your screen to maybe as you kind of jump into some of these websites so that we can see kind of what you're looking at and
Well,
stuff.
is it okay, Chris, if
Yeah.
you're open to it, can I ask you some questions before I look at your site?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Before we even look at anything, assume I am cold here.
Okay.
Tell me what your business is and sort of what the role of your website is in that business.
Sure. So I sort of have always balanced two things. Either I've worked a full-time job, so wanting to be able to showcase the portfolio of things I'm doing there,
Okay.
as well as being a consultant on the outside and getting my own freelance work and my own sort of small business on that side. So my problem, I guess, has been both. Can we do like how do I showcase work I'm working on for other people, as well as my own stuff that I'm working on for as my own business, and then balancing between both the agency side of things where I'm doing branding and marketing based material, and then product design on the other side for more UX based software as a service applications.
Got it. So your bread and butter is design.
It is through and through.
Through and through. And the types of people, so the types of people that hire you are agencies, companies. Talk to me about that.
Yes. So I get everybody from small businesses to Fortune level companies, and just kind of the range in between. So sometimes it'll be a startup that's just starting to launch. Like I just recently did something for a wine club that's launching, selling wine straight from Israel. So we get something small that's startup that they're just getting launched. Or I have other clients where it's like a mid-sized company that they have a 10-year-old software system that needs to be revamped, and they have no branding whatsoever, and they need a common consistent voice. So
What's the projects that you want more of?
Personally, I want more of the consulting strategy side of things, and a lot of that is kind of like more business development and organizational health, and just how do you loop in design and design thinking across the board with that.
Okay. Okay. So that is different than okay. So not product design or creative direction, more being sort of a fiduciary and an advisor to how to seamlessly bring it all together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of times they have people maybe who have some design skills, and I just need to help coach or provide a tool set of, hey, did you think about this? Or here's your pattern library that we can go and test together and develop. So maybe more strategy at the top layer with a little bit of designing, but collaborating with others to generate assets.
Collaborating with others to generate assets. I like that. Okay, so the type of people who would be looking at your website are not the full-time job people. It would be the people who would hire you as a freelancer, as a consultant for this next iteration of your business, it sounds like. Yes. And the goal is to what? Get them to call you or sign up for your email list? What are we trying to do?
I would say mainly call or fill out the contact form. Either one is good, right? So okay. Both options are available.
Okay, cool. This is helpful. For everyone listening, the reason I'm doing this first is it's very easy from the outside to sit at someone's website and tell them what they should do differently. It's not very useful if you don't know what their goals are, if you don't know what they're trying to do. Because I could easily tell him, oh, this is how you get people to sign up for your email list, but that's not what he's trying to do. And so I want to get clear that the website is actually lining up with what you're trying to do in your brand and in your business. Cool. So I think I have an understanding. I'm going to do a screen share. Where did I? Hold on, I clicked out of Zoom. 1 second. You would think as a millennial, I would be better. All right, screen share. Can everyone see?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Yep.
Excellent. So Chris, talk me through what you think needs improvement or to change first, or if anything.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if anything, maybe more details into kind of what, maybe what strategy I do provide, or maybe more social proof, testimonials of, validating the work I am doing, that it is meeting business goals that they are requesting when we have some of these sessions.
Yeah. So okay, let's start here because we have 5 to 7 seconds above the fold,
right,
before people leave. So this, to me, looks very clear that this is a personal site, that this is a reference site. It's clear to me immediately, product design, branding, and strategy. So I know that is a catch-all. We might want to play with more specifically what to lead with depending on who we're having on the site. I think for now it's okay, but where I would want you to think about is what to call yourself to attract the right types of clients. Because this might attract more UX people. And so it might be a made-up word. It might be an industry standard word. I don't know. We'd have to sit and brainstorm on it. I think your little blurb works very well. Designer based in Texas, specializing in SaaS platforms, cohesive voice for your brand. It gives you a little, I like that your personality comes out and people you get an instant feel for who you are here. And it still feels professional. Okay, so your CTAs are start a project, view my work. Cool. And is there a reason why you've chosen to highlight start a project versus view my work?
No, mainly just that quick action of what I really want you to do is start a project with me.
Yeah.
Right. So my main call to action is really that, which is the marriage proposal, right? So my second of, will you go on a date with me, is more just go view my work and you can validate, right?
Yeah. I think I might switch those. I'll tell you why. So putting myself in your prospect's shoes, my guess from having been in the agency world a really long time, is that most of the work you're going to get is going to happen from word of mouth, and that your website is just going to be a rationalization of a decision they've already made to work with you. Like it'll be more of a reference site. I don't think anyone's coming to this cold. And so I suspect it's going to be people who are like, oh, I heard this Chris guy is great. I'm gonna Google him, or I have his link and I'm gonna look it up. So what they're looking for is validation and credibility. They just want credibility indicators that you are legit. And so View My Work would be the first place. View My Work and About is probably where you're going to get the most traction from people. And then that's why I think you were right in the beginning. Testimonials and logo bar is probably something they're going to look for, like past clients include type thing. Yeah. So very smart that you have recent work right here. You could even do a logo bar here if you wanted. Okay. I don't know if you want to lead with recent or just work. I don't know that recent matters. Let's think through that. It suggests that you're currently working, which I like the implications of that. Best work, most popular work, see more of my work. I'm not too worried about that line. Rob, by the way, if you want to jump in here, you can totally tell me if you think I'm wrong. Okay, so the goal here, this is effectively your portfolio here.
And so like a slim version of like, I think the best.
Okay.
Best pieces.
And then I'm going to click this out so I don't lose. And it takes them to more of like a case study.
Yeah.
Okay. The brief and the collateral. Okay. There's more.
Yeah, if you scroll up, maybe one of the other ones will have a little more detail because they're
on what it is. Okay. So I don't want to lose your homepage yet.
Sure, you're good.
There's more. That's a great headline. How I work. Yeah, this is very clean. Okay. Yeah, I think you're a solid 70% of the way there.
Great.
With this messaging. Which one should I click on, and we'll go deeper on one of your case studies?
Any one of the first four will be fine.
Cool. Okay, well if that's not a clear headline, I don't know what is. They have a very annoying name. Data Center Hawk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you give us who they are, what they needed. So which part, where does it say what you, whoops, I'm clicking on the group chat. Now you did the UX and branding here?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at the results of that?
Yes. So more of it's described kind of at the top section, and then
that I should have read is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. And then really the screens below really being supporting portions of, here was the outcome.
Wow. They let you share all this?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these are like, I get results for you.
Yeah.
All right. I want there to be a little bit more about your role.
Okay.
What specifically, like I built it doesn't need to be more than a couple lines.
Okay.
Of, and maybe position it with the type of projects in mind that you want to attract more of. So if you led the team, make sure that's clear. If you spearheaded the brainstorming or the design process, or if you were in there tweaking the UX, or if you were the project manager on it, like things that you want them to know and encourage the view of you based on our discussion earlier.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, Chris. So as you've kind of developed this page, what have you kind of run into? Do you have any questions for Margo specifically about like problems you've run into about like taking it further? Anything? Yeah.
I think is you're kind of like, you're trying to describe a story, right? And so my story introduction is that headline, what did I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's kind of like the arch of my journey in short description, right? Because like I want to be good about having enough text, but not so much that it's like, when will you just get to the picture that I can see, right? And then followed up with sort of like the end of like, here's kind of where that journey sort of where it ended for us, and these were the results that we had. And so some of the things I'm trying to capture and be better about just in general is, as we're talking about business goals, how do we satisfy those business goals, right? And maybe where were there areas that perhaps that we, where I missed, and this is what we discovered, and here's how we maybe retested that, or we just redesigned it and sent a new one back out, and we're got this result with it. So I think that's kind of been the structures. How do I sort of like not overwhelmed with too much text, but just kind of meet that line, right, of what's just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that speaks to like a broader question like that designers face, very regularly, Margo, with their portfolio. It's just like design can be so visual, and kind of finding the right balance of like adding some words to it that isn't going to be boring. And there's my baby crying in the background.
Nice.
and yeah, kind of finding that mixture. So yeah, Margo.
So I will agree with something Scott said here about testimonials and like you're knowing a little bit more about your process. I think what's missing for me, this is beautiful. And it's clear that you are experienced and you've done a lot, and I like that you're smiling. You look like someone that's, I'd want to work with. It's the USP that's missing for me. Like the why Chris? What's different about Chris? Because and like honestly, what you said in the beginning about how you understand how all the parts work together, I think might be your story. But to use like Godin language, what's the story that we're telling here? Because this story says that I'm a competent designer for all your design needs. And that I don't think is the story that you want to tell. I don't think you want to be for everyone's design needs. I think you have very specific things that you want to be doing more of. Especially like I was just looking at the contact page while you were talking. Hello, what can I help you with? How about, hi, here's what I can help you with. And then name the specific things that you can help them with. And the testimonials that you use should speak to the story you want to tell. Like I am the type of person who, and it could be in, they could underscore different things about your reliability, your timeliness, your leadership, all the different things that clients get frustrated with.
Right.
Because often I think where people get confused for creatives, I know I've done this too, is that we think that people want to work with the most creative and most interesting and best thinker. And it turns out that clients actually want to know that like you'll just do what you say you will do on time.
Right.
Like I'm responsible and I answer, especially when it comes to creative fields like design. So being able to underscore that a little bit. I think that you inadvertently actually do that with this branding. Like it's very clean and it's, somebody's not muted.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No worries. And I like, it's clear that it's professional. Like that you kind of respect, like if I was a startup or a corporation, you would feel like you get me. So it does a nice kind of works in both buckets, which is nice. You're not alienating one or the other. But it's not overtly, corporate jargon where I have no idea what you're saying and it's meaningless,
Right.
Good question from Haley. Go ahead.
From a writing standpoint, I think we might all agree. I try to write for that 5th to 6th grade level. That's just conversational, right?
Yes.
That's who I am personally in general. And that's often, I think, how businesses should write, too. So
that's also copy Bible. Clarity, right. Clear trumps clever every single day of the week. And half the time I'm telling my students they have to unlearn everything that they learned about what they think good writing is.
Right.
I don't think that writing is your problem. I think that we just need to get you more clear on who it's for. And and that intersection between what you want to be known for and who actually needs those skills. I think once you have the clarity of thought around that, you won't have any trouble communicating it.
Yeah. So I have a question on that. Like, that strategy that we're talking about right here about making those decisions about who you want to target, and there's like the positioning implications of that, and et cetera. Like, there's a lot of thought that has to go into that part. When do you kind of know, like, okay, I'm ready to like move forward on the decision that I made here, versus, oh, I should keep thinking about it a little more? Yeah.
That's a great question. So I like to set internal metrics. Like sometimes we'll say we're going to test this positioning for the next month and see how it goes. I think with the lead time required of these kinds of projects, it's a lot harder. Chris, it might just be a personal decision of, I want to start working with these people. This is what I want to be known for. And you just try it on for a couple months and see if it sticks. Like introduce yourself that way at parties, or tell colleagues, tell customers, change your LinkedIn, little things that you can do to try it on. Because I think it's at that intersection of like your own personal identity, but also figuring out what the market needs. So something that I like to test is when I'm in pitch conversations or just with people in my industry, testing different lines, hearing what they need and what they're talking about in the way that they're talking about it is usually really helpful for how I should position myself for what they think they need. So, for example, the reason I even got into conversion rate optimization was I was a strategist by trade. Like, I loved strategy. I'm a strategic planner in my heart. And every time I tried to sell strategy, I tanked. Like every single customer, unless I was working with the agency and then I was freelancing with them. But pretty much every single customer thinks that they're good at strategy. And once I figured that out, I knew that leading with the fact that I'm really good at strategy wasn't going to be helpful for me. So I started becoming known as a copywriter and as someone who could get you sales or someone who could grow your brand, like things like that. And that was the language I used. And then when I came in, I did strategy because that's actually what they needed to get to the result they wanted. But it took me a while to make that all click.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's super insightful. Just like, even if like the strategy is the valuable part, that it's valuable, and even your clients know it's valuable. It doesn't matter if they think they're doing it well already, like, and leading with that, they're not going to end up. So I think your psychology major is kind of shining through there. Cool, man. Chris, do you have any more follow-ups on the site or on kind of implementing some of the advice from Margo?
No, I think it's great. I've got like 3 pages of notes I'm taking. So it's awesome. A lot of it, I think, is like what you said. It's usually getting clarity around your own business goals and then writing for that. So the rest of it is like test it, see how it goes, and change it if it's not working. So
yes.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, there was another website here by Jean Masad. Ping her and see if
I'm typing while you're doing that, so I'll just talk. Chris, you are a great sport, and I'm also originally from Texas, so I feel like we're kindred spirits.
Yes.
But I'm told I'm not allowed to like you because you're from Dallas and I'm from Houston, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, that is the armpit of the South, right?
Oh, no.
Okay, I think Scott is going to jump in next. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Let me drop the link to your site into the chat here.
Cool.
Wait, there it is. So it's blackantelope.com in case. Yeah, but Scott, you want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about kind of what you're looking for in terms of improving your site and kind of what you're doing with the site currently.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. And it's nice to meet you, Margo, and
nice
everybody else who's here. I have my daughter with me right now, so she's promised to be quiet. Yeah, it's summer break, and we're just getting used to this new schedule. So I have my kids in the morning, and I'm free in the afternoon. But so basically, I've been doing Black Antelope for almost a decade. I started as an engineer, and then moved more into management. And I hated working for other people. And I worked for an agency before Black Antelope, and kind of saw all the ways that they were sucking, and I realized that I could do a better job. And started Black Antelope, and my brother came on, and we've been doing it together. We've stayed small. We've been a boutique agency. Pretty much, there's 3 of us full time right now. We've been maybe like 10 people at our busiest, with some like $1 million project. We don't have anything that large right now, but we've got a lot of work. And it's been a good thing. It's been kind of a lifestyle business for us, allowing us to live where we want, work when we want, and we like doing high quality work for people. I've kind of moved more to the design side. I really enjoy product design, art direction, sort of kind of a high level view of or high level role in projects. So I kind of just wear many hats, and I can wear them needed, but I really enjoy the design process. We do a lot of work for higher education, currently UC Berkeley. We've done a lot of Silicon Valley and San Francisco based startups, and a fair amount of nonprofit work, some smaller startup work, and kind of like hard problems, difficult problems from a design perspective and engineering perspective.
Are you in a similar boat to Chris, where most of the work that is going to be coming in is probably going to be coming in via referral, people who are already kind of familiar?
Yeah, there's a lot of referral. I mean, especially at UC Berkeley, we're kind of like a known entity now. That we do good work for a lot of their departments. So we keep getting a lot of work there. We've gotten work that's non-UC Berkeley from UC Berkeley. So like word of mouth is pretty much how we're getting most of our stuff. I've tried a number of other things, a lot of outbound stuff that hasn't really worked too well. Inbound.
Outbound for what? For traffic?
For like business development.
Okay.
It doesn't work too much. I've gotten a few things here and there, but mostly it's come from like having a pretty good online presence and word of mouth.
So tell me, what's your vision for Black Antelope? Like, what are we building?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, I mean, on one hand, I feel the pressure to grow and be bigger. On the other hand, I like the money we make. You know, when we're small, we tend to be able to make more money than if we were to have a whole bunch of full-timers. Yeah. We also have more flexibility. So I don't know. I mean, maybe like 3 or 4 people is kind of our ideal size. I would like to keep it going. You know, this year is super busy. Like, I know that there's a number of things we need to do to our website. Maybe I can do it around Christmas time. Like, I'm totally swamped.
You and me both.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to keep it going. I mean, like for the first time ever, we're having to like schedule stuff out. Like we're telling people we can't start design until like September or something like that.
So what I'm hearing, tell me if I'm hearing you right, is we want sort of a boutique agency feel with 3 to 4 full-time people, maybe contractors as needed, but not trying to be like all things to everyone. A focus on product development and design. I'm hearing a theme: high quality, hard problems, engineering, and nonprofit and education. This is a little bit of what I'm hearing. What role does your website play in your business right now?
I think it's similar to Chris's, that people come to us after they've read about us. Like Clutch has been big for us for bringing people in. So they'll find us there, or find us through Google search or through referral, and then testimonials is really important. So I think
this justifies a decision they've already made. Like they're just kind of looking you up to make sure that they're actually legit, and you get what they're trying to do, and you might. So we're instilling confidence in people that you're the right person to solve their problem once they've already heard about you.
Yeah.
They're not coming in cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Margo, do you think it'd be useful to maybe talk a little bit about like what the difference is there, like about how to approach that specific situation of like somebody who's coming to a site just to kind of reinforce their decision already, as opposed to somebody cold?
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry, I got lost in my head. The motivation for why someone comes to your site informs what your messaging on your site should be, because you want to meet people where they are. So for example, for me, my site is a list building site, because most of what happens for me and where I sell is on my email list. It's also where I write the most. It's also what I update the most. It is my line of communication with my customers. That's really different than when I was running my consulting firm. I had what I refer to as a reference site, which is pretty much no cold traffic ever came there, ever. All of my biggest clients came from word of mouth, and it was much bigger price points. So now, some of my courses are, $2,000 to $5,000, probably a few that are less as I build them out, maybe a $499 price point I'm working on. That you can sell via email. My consulting firm, we were pulling in $50,000 to $100,000 contracts. That wasn't happening online. That was happening in sales calls. That was happening because they knew me. And it was happening because so-and-so vouched for me. A lot of that because of the relationships I had. And so the role of the website is to justify the decision they had already made in their head about needing to work with me. And to be honest, for a while, I didn't even have one. I was a little sketchy, but they wanted to see what I was trying to communicate was trust and safety. So the way in which I communicated that was client logos, testimonials, the types of projects I work on. So it was really, really clear by the clients I chose to display the type of work that I could be able to do for you. Like it would be clear if you were a VC firm, you probably wouldn't want to hire me. But if you were a nonprofit, I could probably help you. Things like that. And the other reason it matters is because we make decisions emotionally. And so part of what we want to do is get to the heart of how your target market makes decisions. And so the reason I was pulling out some of the themes that you were talking about, like nonprofit or education, is you can actually tweak some of the messaging to speak directly to those people so they feel like you get them. Instead of saying I'm a full service agency for everyone, which is what every design firm in the world does right now. I think that we're sort of seeing the end of that. And I'm not suggesting that you niche to education right now. Simply that I think finding, like you've said a few things that suggest like you might be the people that for big, difficult engineering problems, they need to think of Black Antelope.
Yeah.
Like, or something where we're clear on what your actual brand is, because there's what you can do, and then there's what you're known for. And I think what you can do is what you keep in your back pocket, and that's what you end up doing when you're in negotiations. But what you're known for is what you should put on your website, because that's what you want to attract more of.
Okay. So you're suggesting to maybe like downplay the heavy engineering stuff.
No, not downplay it. Decide. Decide, like, if that's what you want, like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want? What kind of work do you want more of? I mean, to stay 3 to 4 people, listen, in the beginning, all of us say yes to everything because, and usually the beginning lasts a really long time. It's anywhere from 3 to 20 years. It depends. And like, but as we refine and you get to know what you like to work on, what team works best, what kinds of things you want to own versus what your clients should own themselves, you can refine the messaging of your website so you become the go-to for that specific thing.
Okay.
So for you, that's to me the biggest thing that's missing here, because like it's clear you guys are professionals. Like that's what's coming through here. You're professionals, but it's not totally clear what for.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh, one thing to mention is for pretty much the entirety of Black Antelope, we've gotten like 95% of our work is Drupal. I mean, we're not religious about any particular platform or language. We've done like everything, but most of the incoming stuff has been Drupal. Like we're just into that groove. So we try to emphasize that on our site.
I saw that was the first service and technology listed. You have it above the fold as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think part of what you can do is lean into owning that you're the market leader in some of this stuff. Like, like you got a Drupal site, and right here, what you have, let me catch it before it goes away. The future of Drupal is here. Drupal 8 is smarter, faster, mobile first, and much more usable. Are you ready? So that says that to me speaks like a brand piece of like, I should click and read an article on Drupal. Instead, I want to hear like, do you have a site that's Drupal? We can fix it. Or like, do you have a product that was written here and it's really confusing? Like, we got you. Like, I want to hear that, like, if I'm working with Scott, he can take care of anything that I have built in Drupal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That expert Drupal dolls are hard to find. See, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Drupal has gone through a transition recently from, because every time Drupal has an upgrade, you have to do a migration. And right now we're in the process of going from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8. Big platform changes. During that transition, we got a lot more WordPress stuff. So I've been doing a lot of WordPress too. But yeah, Drupal is, I mean, they're bigger money projects typically. Also.
There you go.
One of the things I think that is a really interesting takeaway from both calls, actually, from both sites that we've looked at so far is, and this is something I've noticed also with like website strategy calls I do every month with members is the way people are describing it, like the service and the value that they provide, like directly on this call when they're getting asked it, is night and day from like what's on their website and like the words that are on the site. And Margo was talking a lot about how to kind of extract that, like, and she was noting down like the words you were using, right? Like that's something I think that is probably valuable for anybody who's looking to improve their site. Is like, why is there a difference between how effective a sales call is versus your website? And yeah, there's changes in like the wording, right? So, but Margo, I saw in the chat that there's a Hamya fan, Mary. Yeah. So Margo has an awesome YouTube channel with
Hillary Weiss.
Hillary Weiss, yeah. Where they do website teardowns. It's awesome.
It's not just what we yell at websites and talk a lot about branding and geek out on these things. So it's awesome. Hi, Marie. But yeah, no, to your point, Rob, one of the things that we all do, because this is kind of how we're trained to do, is we copycat what's industry standard about, like, if we're an agency, we want to project that we're an agency, or if we're a consulting firm, or if we are a freelancer, like these different things. And I like to remind people that your colleagues are not your customers. And so we don't because we all do this. I definitely do this. The first time I made my website, I wanted all of my peers to think I was really smart. And like, that was top of mind the whole time. I was like, you need to think that I am the smartest marketer you've ever worked with, and that it wasn't a mistake for me to leave my corporate job. And like, that was really what was motivating my copy. And like, obviously it didn't work. It's like, they're not the ones hiring me. And so when I switched to working with companies directly, they didn't care about the stuff that my industry cared about. They cared that I solved their problem. And it took me a while to figure out what their problem was and what specifically I was doing for them. And that's where listening to that intersection of, like, Scott, what you want to be known for and what you guys are good at with what the market actually needs is that's where your website lives. And what Rob was saying earlier about, like, why people use the site is also relevant, because you don't, like, for example, and I don't think you have this, I don't think you need a blog, like, ever. And unless you decide I want to become the industry leader in Drupal, and then we're going to start displaying thought leadership and expertise through through content, that is one approach. I don't think you need that at all at this point. Like, I think what you have to decide is, what do we want to be known for? What types of clients do we want more of, so we can keep ourselves at this particular revenue, like, to not grow so big that we're attracting P&G. Or if we do attract P&G, it's a $1 to $4 million project where I can keep my staff happy and I don't have to hire 600 more people.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. We've got like 10 more minutes or something, Margo. Are you still good for the next?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Awesome. So there's another one here, Fran, who is on camera. There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, I just sent his link on the chat.
Cool.
I'll post your. Stephanie just asked what your site was, Margo, so I linked her to it. Thatseemsimportant.com, which is an awesome domain name. But yeah, Fran, so do you want to introduce maybe Basement and kind of your studio a little bit?
Sure. We're a two-person studio. We're based in Argentina. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah.
We're based in Argentina, and we do mostly branding and front-end design for different startups. Most of them are based in the US, both East and West Coast, but we also have done work for companies in Europe and in Australia too.
Awesome. Okay.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yep. No, well, what we're trying to achieve with our website is having a brand that speaks for us, because we're just two guys, but we don't want everyone to know that we're just two guys. But we're starting to grow as a company, and we're starting hiring UX. We're hiring UX people to start handling more like larger projects. This has been a challenge for us in the past by being just the two of us. So we figured out the natural way to keep doing business was to start hiring more people and start growing as a company. So having new people on board also required us to have a more solid branding for ourselves, so they will want to come to our company, to be part of a company.
Okay.
So it's not just to getting clients.
It's for attracting employees.
Also, yeah, both.
Okay. Okay. So I'm hearing, so what you guys do is branding and front-end design, mostly for startups. And then part of what you're trying to do is attract more of the right people for your team.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Okay, let's do some screen share. I'm excited. Okay. Oh, I'm already obsessed. So what I try and do, by the way, one of the things that drives me crazy when I used to have a staff, I would train them that, like, it doesn't actually matter what you like or don't like. It matters that the brand ladders up with the person's goals. So I try never ever to use I like or don't like language, but this is very much my branding too. So I do like, but okay. So a digital studio that builds profitable experiences with awesome people. So we have a clear, you're starting with a positioning statement. You're starting with words. Talk to me about this. Why are we leading with words and not images for our branding studio?
Because we wouldn't like to, the people who arrive to the website will be facing case studies mostly on different websites, and we want them to have like a story being told to them. So you start reading this, and you will make your progress when you start.
You start telling the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the point is moving. The arrow is moving on the bottom to try to make you scroll down and start reading the rest of the website.
All right.
And also, there's something worth mentioning there. We changed. We used to have a digital studio that builds cool experiences with awesome people, and we changed that for profitable. Because most of our clients were like, we don't want anything cool. We want something that's profitable. So we actually ended up replacing that word there.
Yeah, no, that sounds very startup focused. I could see them caring about that. Like next up is going to be we are growth hackers. But so talk to me about the word experiences. Why are we saying we build profitable experiences?
You're probably familiar with the concept of an MVP, and we're trying to move away from just an MVP and trying to work on MLPs, which are minimum lovable products instead of just viable products, because we think the product is not just the actual app that you're building or the actual brand that we're building, but it's something as a whole, and it's all part of experience that the user gets when they approach the brand, not just by seeing a sign on a wall, but also when they talk with people from, I don't know, customer service, or so it's a whole.
Holistically is what you're getting at. Okay. I want to play with this word because I agree with you. That is correct, but I'm concerned that you're going to sound like an experiential marketing agency and not branding and front-end design or UX. And so I'm trying to think, I would play a little, I like Digital Studio feels really on brand. Builds feels really on brand. Profitable, I get why you're doing it. I think profitable experiences, the phrase is the one that I think we need to play with, because based on what you said you want to attract more of, that one doesn't reflect it for me. And I think it would be too bland to say builds like beautiful websites. Like that's not the answer either. But I think something with the word brand needs to be in there. Profitable brands, we're not going to get there today, but we can. That's where I would spend your time.
That will make people think that we only do branding.
Branding, right?
We add brands there. That's why we try with experiences, because experience is like more. It's wider. I don't know.
When people hire you, what do they say? Like, how do they describe you to people?
Well, most of the times when people start talking with us for us to work on their projects, they just have an idea, or sometimes they have a real rough keynote. So they are trying to get funding or something like that, and they want to build a brand, to build their branding and their website, so they have something to showcase to possible investors. So we start doing their branding, and we start thinking about their brand, but also think about their apps and what they're building. So in the future, some of those clients, we also do their apps. So
what if we added the word digital, profitable digital experiences? So it's clear that you do websites, ads, apps, like product design. I want a catch-all word that suggests that you handle the online things.
Instead of using digital in the top, like a digital studio, just remove digital from studio and add in.
And move it to, that's true. Maybe I'm being redundant now.
No, but maybe we can remove it from a studio that builds profitable digital experiences with awesome people. That doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
We can try that.
Yeah, and keep testing it, because this isn't wrong. We just need to get more clear. I don't want people to mistaken you for like guerrilla marketing tactics. Online. Cool. The other thing that's striking me here is obviously the awesome people is to attract the right kind of employees. I think that's fun. I think it's great. I also think it sends the right thing to your clients to say that like we value our people and we care. And that's a really nice value proposition. Something I might add, so I'm a really big fan of a clean, like no more than 4 things in your navigation. But work with us, I kind of want it to be in your navigation, just for people who want to be on your team. Something where they don't need to go through the whole storyboard down below, but they can go straight to like this part is for them.
Yeah, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, because we go straight to our recent projects, which is less interesting to if I want to join the team.
Yeah, well, maybe because you will see what
you want to know what we're doing. Yeah.
Cool. This site is a little bit different because he did have like those 2 very different call to actions that he was kind of wanting, which is like the job sort of aspect, and then the client, obviously, to hire them. Interesting.
We are at the basement. I love that. It's really memorable what you've done with the name.
Yeah, that's something. Well, actually, our first office was a basement. That's what we're called,
Oh,
basement.
nice.
Our work is serious. We are not. Oh my
Yeah.
God. God, I kind of want you to lead with this. Oh my God, now I want to work with you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're the two guys.
Yeah.
That's me, my partner.
This is fantastic. I think About Us is your work with us page, but we maybe they're this. Well, let me hold on. Let me think through this. Yeah. So, do you want to join the basement? Contact us. Yeah.
Maybe it's too much text. I don't know.
What we believe in?
Yeah, the whole page having an About Us section and what we believe in section and all these bios. You're just scrolling and I'm seeing like there's like a wall of text.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of text isn't bad. We can break it up. And the formatting also matters because when it's small like that, people aren't going to read it.
Yeah.
But you can also play with formatting here to call out the pieces you care about and the things you want to take them away. So if you're assuming people are skimming, we can call out. Let me just look here. Yeah, like what we believe in, this entire thing, I think speaks actually to the people you're trying to attract employee-wise.
Yeah.
More so than your clients. I think the clients aren't going to understand this part, but someone who's going to work with you is totally going to understand this part. So maybe it's a matter of turning this into 2 pages. Like one is About Us that is directed toward clients, and one is a work with us or like more of a team, what we're about piece. It's great though.
Thank you.
So is it working for you?
It's well, not for the employees part. We don't get that much contacts for employees that want to work with us from our website, but it's actually working to get new clients and new projects. That part is working.
Yeah, I think we can solve that by having a really clear work with us section and and you can come up with a name for it as long as it's clear, not clever. And then also you need to send the right traffic, because if they're not knowing to look for you, there's no reason someone looking for a job is going to randomly come to the site.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I might know some designers. I did want to mention though, Margo, you have a Skillshare course out right now that I was not familiar with. So if you're wondering how Margo has gotten so good at being comfortable with selling and just being able to like look at these websites and really approach it from a great salesmanship perspective, I don't know, is the Skillshare a good place to kind of check you out? I know you have the newsletter obviously on your site.
Yeah. I have a bunch of sales stuff on my site, but it actually came. So you guys, you ever seen There Will Be Blood?
I have.
The movie? Oh, well, it's phenomenal. And the best sales pitch of all time is from Daniel Day-Lewis's character. And he gives this pitch for why he should build an oil rig in your area. And I did a breakdown for it for HubSpot for why it was the best pitch of all time. And Skillshare ended up approaching me and they were like, we got to turn this into a class. And I was like, cool. So we turned it into honest selling secrets from a dishonest man is where it started. But we break down sales principles so it's not so sleazy, because I think selling is awesome, but I don't know y'all's background. I'm hearing that there's designers, so we are all creatives in the same field who care about the quality. And really, like in my mind, sales was always something the client department of like the people that I wasn't a part of. And once I realized that we are all telling a story and there's a generous and very authentic way to approach it, it like blew my mind. And so that's what I teach now. I try and get people really, really comfortable with selling, with advocating for themselves, because you guys have such cool stuff.
Yeah, I think that's definitely widespread in the design community. Is like, yeah, having that even with marketing and both marketing and selling is just like hard for designers a lot of the time. But yeah, I really like your stuff and your approach to it. So I definitely recommend. I'm sure there's people here who have a Skillshare account. They should definitely add your course to their next up. But yeah, Margo, I want to thank you again. If you have any closing thoughts for us to kind of close us out here, people can go to thatseemsimportant.com, and then if you have any other links, you're Margo Aaron at Margo Aaron on Twitter as well. She's also a really great follow. Yeah.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. You guys are working on some really, really cool stuff. I know it's hard to watch a stranger look at your website, so I appreciate you showing up with good questions and a great attitude, and definitely follow up with me and let me know how things are going, what was useful and what wasn't. And I would say the main thing to try and get away is get agencies out of your head. They are toxic. We have a way of letting all of our colleagues get in our heads of what we're supposed to do. And I think the more we can focus on the type of people we want to attract and speak to them directly, the better our websites get and the clearer our messaging becomes.
Awesome. That is so true. Thank you, Aaron, Margo, again. And thanks everybody for showing up and for paying attention. And yeah, we'll be doing this again once every few months. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.